Today's pattern is so simple, I almost didn't want to tie it for the channel, but I'm going to because, well, a lot of you just like simple flies, and because this thing has worked for me in a lot of situations. It's basically a yellow palmer, but I call it a variation because in these sizes, I don't put a tail on it. Now, if I'm tying a true yellow palmer, I will put a tail on it, and I'll tie it as big as a 10 or 12, because in those sizes, you're probably imitating a mayfly. But in these smaller sizes, say 16s or 18s, it's really going to look more like a midge. So this one you're about to see, it's kind of a cross between a yellow palmer and a Griffith gnat, and I will break it out if all I'm seeing on the water are small midges. But it's worked for me everywhere from the Smoky Mountains to the Catskills, and if you stick around to the end of the video, you'll see it working on the Savage. So there's one in the vise, a variation of a yellow palmer. Now this is a size 16. In this version I will tie without the tail probably 14s, 16s, and 18s. If I'm putting a tail on it, I'll go as big as a 12 because really by then you're not necessarily trying to imitate a midge, more like maybe a generic mayfly. And I don't think the thread color matters. I'm going with a dun on this one, but you could go with yellow, brown, tan, black, pretty much anything you want. First thing we're going to catch in, Grizzly dry fly hackle here. And I just hold it around right there and then, pull it around till I get about the length I want, say maybe 1.5 times the hook gap. And we're going to just catch this in right here at the back. Maybe a little farther back than that, but that's going to be fine. Snip off the front of this stem here. Now let's put a little wax on our thread. And for the dubbing, your choice really. I'm going with got some scrap mess in there, but this is a yellow acrylic, so totally synthetic. If you want it to maintain its yellow color, use something synthetic, which a good dry fly dubbing often is synthetic, but keep in mind that a natural, like a rabbit or a wool or something like that, will darken when they get wet. So a synthetic maintains its color, but a natural will kind of darken. And I don't really even know if this staying yellow really matters because I pretty heavily hackle it. I don't think many fish are ever going to really even see what color this body is. Maybe if I tie it bigger and don't hackle it so heavily, you could probably get a hint of the yellow. But as I'm tying it right here, this thing really rides high on the surface film, and I don't think the fish really are going to see what color it is. But, that's quite all right for this one I'm doing right here. Okay. I probably could have gone a little bit farther up with that dubbing, made it a little bit bigger of a fly, but I think that's big enough. We're just going to have a little bit extra metal up here behind the eye, and that's totally fine. It'll still be a perfectly fishable fly. So just a few extra wraps right here, make some room for a whip finish. So there you go, this yellow palmer variation / midge pattern, almost Griffith gnat looking thing is done. It's that simple, but can be a pretty effective fly. All right, good morning. I'm back on the Savage River at the 7X flat, which is just upstream of the Garrett footbridge. Fishing a 7.5 foot 2-weight. The water is still pretty high, but not as bad as it was 2 days ago. So I'm going with dry flies. I've tied on, it's a size 18 yellow palmer. It's kind of a midge pattern. I'm seeing a fair amount of bugs in the air. I've seen a few sulfurs, but mostly midges. And I haven't seen anything rising, so I'm totally prospecting, but it just feels like a good dry fly day. So let's give it a shot. There's one. All right, how big is this guy? He's all right. Nice, decent. Didn't come up yet. Oh yeah, he's a very solid fish. Try to get the net out on him. Come down here, buddy. There we go, in the net, in the net. All right. Come on, buddy, let me get this hook out of you. All right, well, I didn't get a chance to hold him up for the camera, but he was a little bit longer than my tattoo, which is 13 inches right there. So he was probably 15. Okay, thanks for sticking around. I did end up with one more fish in that stretch and one more that I did not land. Of course, the biggest one is the one that always gets away, but this time it really was. This guy, I had him on for about 5 or 6 seconds. He jumped out of the water 3 or 4 feet out of the water, and this guy had to have been 18 inches. Not exaggerating. So I'm gonna get that guy next week. But in the meantime, for all of you US viewers who have stuck around and watched this far, let's do a hat and mug giveaway. Savage Fly's mug right here and the cool embroidered hat. Let's make this one fun. Just leave a comment anywhere in your comment, put butter. Work that in somehow. I'm going to be out of town when this video is published, but I'll be back in a few days, so I'll go to the random comment picker, pick a winner, and get this one in the mail to you. So that's it, everybody. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care. See you in a couple days.